Have you ever been betrayed or disrespected so badly that your blood boiled, your hands shook, and 1,000 savage comebacks raced through your mind? But instead, you stayed silent, not because you were afraid, but because you were powerful enough to let karma do what karma does best. That silence wasn't weakness, it was a strategy, a weapon. Stoic philosophy teaches that the most dangerous man is the one who controls his response. In a world obsessed with reacting, silence is the ultimate power move. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When someone tries to pull you into the mud, staying calm and quiet proves you're already above them. You don't need to defend your dignity, you only need to protect your peace. Dark psychology shows that silence makes people anxious. It creates mystery. They don't know if you're planning, if you're healing, or if you've simply moved on. That uncertainty haunts them more than any insult ever could. And karma? It's silent too. It doesn't knock. It doesn't warn. It just arrives, swift and unforgiving. And the people who wronged you will suffer, not by your hand, but by their own. This video will reveal 7 moments when you must stay silent, when your silence becomes your strength, and karma becomes your sword. And if this already speaks to you, comment below. I let silence speak and karma act. Let it be your shield. Welcome to Stoic Wind. Let's begin. Betrayal doesn't just hurt, it changes you. It shakes your trust in people, in your instincts, and sometimes in yourself. It can come from a friend, a partner, even family. One moment they're standing beside you, the next they're the reason you're bleeding. And the worst part, most betrayers never feel guilty. They justify, they lie, they twist the truth until they paint you as the villain in their story. That's where the temptation to react burns strongest, to scream, to confront, to expose them publicly. But that's exactly what you shouldn't do. Why? Because betrayal is loud, but karma is louder when you stay silent. The Stoics believed in responding to life, not reacting to it. When someone betrays you, your emotional reaction is a weapon they expect to use against you. They want the drama, they want the chaos. They want your fall to be noisy so theirs seems justified. But when you say nothing, when you walk away with your head high and your lips sealed, you rob them of their victory. You become unreadable. You become untouchable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When someone betrays you, becoming consumed with revenge turns you into a mirror of their flaws. But your silence? That reflects strength. It says, "You didn't break me. You revealed yourself." And that truth, seen in your calm, not your words, is what haunts them long after the betrayal is over. Now, here's where dark psychology enters. Silence after betrayal isn't just wise, it's psychological warfare. When you stop talking to someone who expected an argument, when you don't even acknowledge the betrayal with anger, they begin to crumble from within. Doubt starts to eat at them. Did I go too far? Why aren't they reacting? What are they planning? Your silence becomes their paranoia. You see, people who betray others often rely on confrontation to shift blame. They want to argue. They want to manipulate the narrative. But when you don't give them that opportunity, they're forced to sit alone with their choices. And that's far more punishing than anything you could say. Karma works best when you're quiet, because while you're rebuilding your peace, karma is dismantling their illusions. Their lies catch up with them, their betrayals unravel, and when it all falls apart, they'll remember the one person who never raised their voice, but stood tall. You. So if you've ever been betrayed, and you chose silence instead of revenge, know this: you walked the path of the warrior in disguise, a stoic, a master of emotional discipline. Comment below. My silence is louder than betrayal. Let that be a reminder of your power. This was just the first of 7 moments where silence becomes strength. Stay with me, because what's coming next might just change how you handle everything. There's something uniquely cruel about being lied about. When someone fabricates stories about you, twists your words, distorts your actions, and poisons your name behind your back, it feels like an invisible dagger. You can't see the wound, but you feel it. You feel the eyes that look at you differently. You feel the weight of judgment based on fiction. And in those moments, your instincts scream for justice. You want to set the record straight. You want to expose the liar. You want to clear your name. But the truth is, the more you chase rumors, the more you validate them. The Stoics understood this. They taught that our reputation is not entirely in our control. What matters is who we are, not what others say. Epictetus put it clearly. If evil be spoken of you, and it be true, correct yourself. If it be a lie, laugh at it. Because those who truly know you will never believe the lie, and those who believe the lie never truly knew you to begin with. Silence in the face of slander is not submission. It is mastery. When you remain silent, you send a signal that your truth is too solid to be shaken by whispers. You're not playing their game. You're not running around trying to put out every fire they light. You're standing tall in the storm, unmoved, knowing the wind will blow the smoke away in time. Now enter the realm of dark psychology. You see, the people who lie about you often expect a reaction. They're not just trying to hurt you, they're trying to control you. Your anger feeds their narrative. Your defense gives their lives life. But when you respond with nothing, when you offer only cold, steady silence, they panic. Why aren't you defending yourself? Why aren't you angry? Why aren't you trying to explain? That silence becomes psychological pressure, because deep down they know the truth and they fear it. When you don't react, they start to unravel. They question their own lives. They fear exposure. And more than anything, they dread the moment when karma catches up, because karma always does. Remember, the truth has a way of surfacing at the perfect time. Lies can be loud, but truth is eternal. And when the dust settles, the liar will stand alone in their deception, while you remain untouched by their venom. So if you're being lied about, let them talk. Let them dig their hole. Your silence is the shovel. Their guilt is the weight. And karma is the gravity that will bury them in the consequences of their own lies. You don't need to defend yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Stay silent, stand firm, let your character speak for itself, and let karma handle the rest. If you've ever stayed silent while others lied about you, type in the comments, "I rise above lies with silent strength." Let it be your armor. Let it be your mindset. This is Stoic Wind, and this is only the beginning of what silence can do. Public provocation is a trap, whether it's an argument in front of others, a social media jab, or someone trying to humiliate you in a crowd. These moments are engineered to strip away your control. They want you to react, to lose composure, to play the fool while they look calm. But here's the truth. The one who controls their emotions in public controls the room. The Stoics warned us about this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When someone attacks you publicly, they expect you to crumble. They want your ego to scream. But when you respond with silence, stillness, and a steady gaze, you flip the script. You become the mystery they can't rattle. Dark psychology reinforces this idea. People who provoke you in public feed off your emotional breakdown. They're not trying to win. They're trying to get a reaction. They want your dignity handed over in a moment of anger. But silence? Silence denies them the satisfaction. It starves them. It puts the weight of their humiliation back in their own hands. Staying silent when publicly provoked doesn't mean you're powerless. It means you're patient. And patience is terrifying to your enemies, because it tells them you're not shaken, you're calculating, and karma, it never forgets an audience. If you've ever been provoked in front of others and chose silence over spectacle, comment below. My silence holds more power than their noise. Let it remind you who you are. Less is Stoic wind. Let's keep going. Jealousy is a silent poison. It twists admiration into resentment, and when someone can't match your light, they'll try to dim it, usually in front of others. These people won't challenge you directly. No, they'll mock, belittle, or make harmless jokes to humiliate you, hoping to chip away at your confidence. But here's the power move. Say nothing. When someone tries to shame you from a place of envy, your silence hits harder than any comeback ever could. The Stoics teach that insults are only harmful if we let them be. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." When someone targets you with humiliation, especially in public, it's never about the truth. It's about their fear that you are becoming more than they could ever be. And when you remain calm, when you don't flinch or fight back, you expose their insecurity without saying a word. Dark psychology tells us this. Humiliation tactics are projection. People try to embarrass you because deep down they feel small beside you. Your confidence threatens them. Your growth disturbs their comfort. But your silence, that terrifies them. Because now they can't predict your next move. They don't know if you're angry, unfazed, or simply not wasting your energy on someone beneath your level. Let them joke. Let them try to laugh at you. The louder they mock, the more obvious their jealousy becomes, and the more silent you are, the more powerful you appear. Karma sees everything, and those who try to humiliate others from the shadows will one day face the spotlight themselves. You've ever been mocked or put down out of jealousy and chosen silence? Comment on their envy cannot touch my peace. This is Stoic wind, the calmest voice in the storm. Let's continue. Some people can't stand your growth, not because you did something to them, but because you outgrew the war they're still fighting. You've moved on, you've healed, you've found peace, but they're still stuck in the past, waiting to pull you back into a battle you've already buried. And when they see that you've risen, their first instinct is to provoke, to bring up old drama, to reignite an old conflict, just to remind themselves that they still matter to you. But here's where your silence becomes sacred. Reminds us, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. When someone tries to bait you into old conflicts, they're testing your emotional maturity. Responding gives them power. Staying silent proves you've evolved. The Stoics taught that wisdom is not in how well we argue, but in how well we walk away. Marcus Aurelius. Dark psychology explains this as emotional anchoring. They want to tie you back to an old identity, to the version of you that fought, that reacted, that burned energy on people who didn't deserve it. But your silence breaks the chain. It says, "I'm not who I used to be, and I won't become that person again, just to meet you at your lowest." When you don't engage, they feel it. The space they once occupied in your mind is gone. That's what haunts them. And karma, it never brings peace to those who try to destroy it in others. So when someone tries to pull you back into battles you've long outgrown, say nothing. Let your peace disturb their chaos. Let your silence be the final answer they never get to rewrite. If you've refused to step back into an old war, you've already won. Comment below. My silence protects the peace I earned. This is Stoic wind. Gaslighting is one of the most subtle yet vicious forms of psychological warfare. It's when someone distorts your reality, makes you question your memory, your emotions, even your sanity. They lie to your face, then convince you you're overreacting. They'll betray you, then spin the story until you're the one apologizing. It's not just manipulation, it's control. And the most powerful response to it is silence. Stoic philosophy is rooted in the ability to see clearly, to separate what you feel from what is. Epictetus warned us not to hand over our minds to others. When you're being gaslit, your emotions are used as weapons against you. But when you stay calm, when you refuse to defend yourself against lies you've never lived, you disarm the manipulator entirely. Dark psychology confirms this. Manipulators crave engagement. They want confusion, emotional spirals, a desperate need for validation. Your silence steals their oxygen. When you stop reacting, they lose their grip on your mind. You become unreachable. And that's what terrifies them the most. When you don't argue, when you don't explain yourself, when you simply remove your energy from the game, you force them to face a truth they can't rewrite, that their influence over you is dead. You owe no one an explanation for your truth. When someone tries to manipulate your reality, silence is your line in the sand. You're not confused, you're not lost, you're simply done. If you've ever stayed silent in the face of manipulation and reclaimed your power, comment below. My silence breaks their control. Let it echo as your shield. This is Stoic wit, is clarity. Some people don't want resolution. They don't want peace. They just want power. And the easiest way to feel powerful, get a reaction out of you. Anger, frustration, pain. The moment you react, they win. Because they've proven to themselves that they can still reach you, that they still control a part of your mind. But the moment you choose silence over reaction, the power dynamic shifts. You rise, they sink. The Stoics called this emotional discipline. Seneca wrote, "He who angers you conquers you." When someone tries to poke, provoke, or push you for a reaction, what they're really saying is, "I feel powerless unless I make you lose control." But when you stay calm, when you don't flinch, don't snap, don't bite, you expose the emptiness behind their performance. You strip them of the illusion that they matter to your peace. From a dark psychology lens, this is emotional baiting. It's a tactic used by narcissists, manipulators, and insecure people. They provoke to validate themselves. But your silence? That's a brutal mirror. It forces them to sit with their own insignificance, without you feeding their ego. It's silence, in these moments, is not indifference. It's a power play. It's you saying, "You are not worth the energy." And nothing stings more than irrelevance to someone desperate for control. Let them throw their tantrum. Let them act out. Their need to provoke you only exposes how small they feel in your presence. And karma? It doesn't skip those who try to climb by pulling others down. If you've ever refused to give someone the reaction they wanted just to protect your energy, comment. I respond with silence. That is my power. This is Stoic wind, the voice of those who remain still while the world tries to shake them. There comes a point when words are no longer necessary, when someone has repeatedly lied, hurt, manipulated, or disappointed you. There's nothing left to discuss. They've shown you who they are. The patterns are clear. The mask has dropped. And still, they might come back, pretending to change, asking for another chance, or worse, acting like nothing ever happened. That's the moment when silence becomes your most powerful answer. The Stoics believed in observing reality, not imagining fantasy. Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change. But if not, I will continue as I am." In other words, we should always be willing to grow, but never to regress. When someone's behavior has already revealed their true character, giving them more of your voice is giving them more power, and that's something you've outgrown. Dark psychology makes it simple. People rarely change without deep internal transformation, and most don't want to transform. They want to reset the game. They want access to you again, not because they value you, but because they miss controlling you. Your silence tells them the game is over, that you're no longer available as a pawn in their story. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Stop reopening doors to people who only walked in to break things. You don't need to make announcements. You don't need to prove your boundaries. You just need to disappear from the battlefield they created, and when karma visits them, because it will, it won't knock, it'll hit harder, because you didn't play their game, you simply stepped away. If you've ever walked away quietly after seeing someone's true colors, type in the comments. I honor truth with silence, not second chances. This is Stoic Wind, where your silence says everything. Let me tell you something most people never realize. Silence is the most terrifying form of revenge, not because it hurts louder, but because it confuses, it stings, and it lasts. When you stop reacting, when you stop explaining, arguing, and chasing closure, you become a mystery, and people fear what they can't read. That's the true power of Stoicism. It's not about being emotionless, it's about being unshakable. The loudest revenge is temporary, but silent revenge, it echoes. It lingers in their minds long after the moment has passed. Because you didn't need to scream, you walked away. You didn't need to expose them, karma did. You didn't need to prove your worth. You elevated in silence, and the results spoke louder than any words ever could. Every time you stayed quiet when someone betrayed you, every time you let a liar drown in their own story, every time you refused to go back and fight old wars, you weren't weak, you were wise, and in a world that demands your reaction, your silence becomes sacred. This is what we believe in here at Stoic Wind. We don't chase people. We don't beg for closure. We don't scream to be heard. We walk, we rise, and we let karma finish what we never started. You felt this message deeply. Comment once more. My silence is my revenge. Karma is my ally. Let it become your personal philosophy. Let others see it and feel the shift in you. And if this video opened your eyes, if it reminded you of your strength, don't stop here. Like this video, subscribe to Stoic Wind, and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because this channel isn't just about watching content, it's about becoming someone they'll never be able to control again. Stay silent, stay powerful. And remember, your calm will always be louder than their chaos.